Welcome to today's video. We need to pick out some books from our physical TBR. Last year I had a TBR jar, which was fun, but it wasn't quite gamified enough, so I gamified it a little bit more. We made some cute little tarot cards. How this is going to work now is we have a tarot card and we will pick one of these tarot cards, and then we will pick anywhere from 2 to 4 books depending on my most recent workout or run. My most recent workout was an easy run, which means this one will start with 2 books. 2 books for easy runs, 3 books for like speed runs or lifts, and then 4 books for long run. Let's go ahead and get these shuffled. Now we're going to pick one tarot card, pick for this instance 2 books. We need to eventually make a process, and the pull is going to be the oldest I own. The oldest I own, the relic of your shelf. Choose the book lingering the longest. Let's look at my shelves really fast and figure out one of the oldest books that I've owned that I haven't read. That is the key. I have to have not read that. So I'm trying to look at my shelves really fast. It wouldn't be any fantasy, although The Witch Haven, I have owned that for quite a few years and I haven't read it. So that could be an option. Okay, let's look here. No. Have I read all these? I have a shelf where I've read every book. How exciting is that? Well, Cujo. I've had this since 2020. I probably should look at my spreadsheet so I know 100% what's going on with my brain. Whisper Man. I've had this one for quite a while. Okay, these are going to be them. Cujo and Whisper Man. I was just filming some short reviews and decided that I really need to give an update on Cujo by Stephen King. Where do I start? As you can see, we're not super far in. It's taking me forever to read this. I think I'm going to switch the audio, see if that helps. Overall, it's just really slow. We've seen all the characters. There was this old police officer named Frank Dodd who was not good. He would kidnap and murder children, and he's been caught. There's also the Trenton family who have moved to a smaller town. He runs an ad agency. His ad agency did for Sharp cereal. However, Sharp cereal had kind of an issue with some of their cereal, and he's trying to save his ad agency. And there's his wife, Donna, who is really struggling with kind of her new identity in the smaller town. And then there's Steve Kemp. She has an affair with him. That's where we're at. There's also the Cambers, who Joe Camber fixes up cars. He's not really the greatest person. He's got a son, Brett, and his wife, Charity. She wants to go visit her sister. So anyways, we see all these kind of characters. Joe is the one that has the dog Cujo, and the Trentons have taken their car to Joe to get fixed, which is how they met Cujo. We're seeing that their son, Tad, is seeing a monster in his closet, so we don't really know how it all comes together, except for obviously centering around Cujo. That's how all the players have come together. But given how long it's taken me to read this, I'm not really enjoying it, and I feel like I'm just reading, but I get it's all going to come together, but I just kind of am not enjoying it. I'm going to try the audio for this, just see if that helps, because sometimes some books are better audio than book. And that's fine. Okay, we need to quickly do an update before I go get cleaned up. We finished Cujo by Stephen King. This definitely picked up. I did switch to the audio book for this after about the 40% mark. 30% mark. And I will say it helped, although there's nothing against Tad because he was in a terrible situation. The way the audiobook narrator narrated him, really, he just annoyed me all the time, anytime he opened his mouth. However, this definitely picks up. You're seeing them as they're trying to survive Cujo because Cujo got rabies, was chasing a bunny, got bit by a bat, and got rabies, which is how we get to Cujo. And I think it was a really interesting story. It definitely gets Stephen King gory and how it all ties together. There is a lot of death. There's a lot of gore. I can't really say much other than it was fine. Definitely enjoyed it more through the audiobook. I think also I could do stuff while I was doing it. Anyways, long story short, this was okay. Wasn't one of my faves, but I am so glad I read it, and I did like it better at the end than at the beginning. Which brings us into The Whisper Man by Alex North. I have already started this. This one is weirdly, I almost feel like I'm mixing them up a little bit because it's following so closely. There was a man who was the Whisper Man. He's in jail. Okay, let's start over. So there's a man and his son who is he's a widow, and they're moving to this weird house in a smaller town. He's a writer, and the house is kind of weird. His son starts talking to an imaginary friend, and they're like, you're not sure if it's a ghost or if it's real, etc. There's also a gentleman who would go and kidnap and steal kids, which is very close to Cujo. However, this guy is in jail, and you are seeing this from multiple point of views. You see it through the gentleman's eyes. What was his name again? The son's name is Jake, and the dad's name is Tom Kennedy. So Tom Kennedy and Jake are moving here. And then you also see it through a couple of detectives' eyes as they are trying to find a missing kid. And I'm about to be interrupted. So you're seeing it through those point of views, something off and weird about the house. And I'm getting kind of a ghostly, mysterious, haunting vibes. However, I'm not sure how far that's going to go. This is very much reminding me of Sleep Tight a little bit, doing some annotating of some like oh crap moments, and I have quite a few. I will keep you updated. I'm probably just going to go ahead and get this finished out after I take a shower, and I will let you know when I'm done. We finished The Whisper Man by Alex North. There were definitely quite a few moments and some like random quotes that I liked. This one was better than Cujo. However, for some reason, it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. It was still decent. The mystery and intrigue was definitely there. It kept me fairly intrigued the entire time. At no point completely grasped who it was, what it was, or any of that. There was a good chunk of this book that made me think of Sleep Tight by J.H. Marker, which was fine, but I wasn't in love with that book either. And this one did a lot of the same things for me, where it was intriguing. It somewhat was an expectation thing, but just kind of let me down in the end. There just was nothing that stood out as really great about this, but there also was nothing that stood out as like super terrible about this. So I do think it is a book worth reading. I think this is definitely going to be a book for somebody who really likes a dark, atmospheric thriller, maybe who somebody doesn't like necessarily so crazy like thrillers that you see in a domestic thriller or a psychological thriller, but just an undercurrent of unease, maybe a little undercurrent of supernatural. Somebody who a little bit likes the Stephen King, but also likes Sleep Tight by J.H. Marker. With that being said, that wraps up the books we read: The Whisper Man by Alex North and Cujo by Stephen King. If you like this video, please like, subscribe. Please comment down below. Did you read any books? Do you like any of these books? And also, I'm always looking for great book recommendations, so feel free to leave me any book recommendations down below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, witches.